Hi, I'm Lois Kalka, Head of Facilities and Materials Management at the Darien Library. 6 years ago, we opened our doors to our then new library on the Post Road in Darien, Connecticut. It was then, and it still is, considered to be one of the best libraries in the country. Through the years, it has become the center of our community. We wanted to take a look back at those exciting days when we first opened our doors and remember what it felt like to see the culmination of years of planning and the fulfillment of a dream.
Why don't we take a look back on the first day and think about what it was? What it was joy. Joy by us, joy by our users, and excitement. Every day when you see kids come in, that's a once-in-a-lifetime event. But as someone said, once in a lifetime, a community builds a library. And that was the once in a lifetime for this generation in the library. And there was amazing joy, just not in the kids coming in, but in all of the adults too, because they recognized what an achievement the library was and what it represents for the community that they love so much and hope for the future.
From their very beginnings, the Public Library in America has always been discussing and trying to define what its purpose and mission ought to be in a society. It's such a ubiquitous institution. That is to say, every community in America has one. And while this was very clearly defined at the outset of the public library movement in this country, the movement itself never quite measured up to the standard they set then, nor did it particularly pursue that direction. The idea of an institution that was somehow communal or community-based goes way back to the 1700s, goes back to Benjamin Franklin. This is a film about how a small group of dedicated citizens got together and decided to create their own great good place. They closed their old library and built a new one. It took them 10 years. They set a high bar for innovation and service, and they built a state-of-the-art library and community center that is hailed around the world as the gold standard of what a great good place can be. They proved that those qualities which made our country great, pride in the community and its institutions, hard work, never giving up, pulling together for a common cause, those qualities are still alive and well. This is their story, and it begins right over there.
Welcome, welcome. I want to welcome you all on this very, very special occasion. I'm Kim Hufford, president of the Darien Library. Once in a lifetime, a community builds a library, and for those of us in Darien, that time is now.
I had worked every single day for 2 years thinking about a myriad of details. And I once said to Louise, we have about 10,000 things that we're going to have to do in this library. Let's see if we can get them all right. It was just the culmination of what for me had been a labor of literally love, and I was so glad to see it open, so glad to see so many people coming in, and they were there just to see the library, the new library, to meet the people. But for me, it was a job well done. If you think about the library, what it can't be anymore is what this library was very good at 25 years ago, which was a great place to go get the most recent book or to get a piece of educational information or reference information. But libraries are so much more than that now. So it's going to come down, and what it's going to do is it's already down there. Now it's come in the ceiling, and it's turned a corner. And there's a logic to the source. Find that F5.
We hear about the most innovative things that are going on in the library world. So, and I always feel privileged by that because I see, you know, as I said, I just see what's new, what's coming down the pike, what the new thinking is, and that's why I admire what's going on here so much.
I have an incredible amount of freedom to implement the things that I'd like to do in terms of technology. Really, it was the vision that Louise and Alan had for the library and their willingness to hire people and let them implement it the way that they think it ought to be implemented.
2001, we finished a long-range plan, and it was called the Library of the Future Now. And it was a plan for the services that we wanted to provide in the building that we had at 35 Leroy Avenue, the building that we'd been in for 50 years. As soon as we started thinking about the plan, it was clear that we couldn't do what the community wanted from us in that building. And that's the day that we started thinking about expanding, and so we started thinking about where we would build a new library in the town. We have a great building. We said to the community when we got their gifts to build this building and designed it and presented it to them, we're going to be here for 100 years. This is an absolutely solid building with a concrete and steel core, bricks, and a slate roof. It's embedded in the culture of a community that says we're here for the long term. And this is not a library that's just here for a short time. This is a library that's going to be at the heart of this community for a century. The architects designed it from the outside in, but we designed it from the inside out because we knew the services we wanted to provide, we knew where the staff members would be, and we wanted to make sure that what we could do in the building would be to provide the extreme customer service that the community had come to expect and that we wanted to deliver.
What we're talking about really is a cultural attitude and a sort of a service attitude. It's not about money. And some of the things that I saw today on the tour and sitting in a wonderful lunch with a group of library staff that are fired up to be here, it wasn't about money, it was about the connections and interacting with the library users, and that would go to any type of library.
What you have in this space is a space that was fundamentally designed around the experiences that needed to happen. Yes, it holds books. Yes, it holds desks. Yes, it circulates. It does the traditional library stuff. But it also has auditoriums, meeting rooms, study rooms, reading lounges, quiet spaces, public spaces, teen rooms, computer labs. All of those are part of the information and community and learning experience that libraries support.
This is just a tremendous facility. I told Barbara that this should be the model for library building across the United States. It has everything you would want here. It has warmth and size and spaciousness and all the high-tech stuff, but it has a feeling of community. When I also heard it was built with private dollars, that's just, wow.
For 20,000 people to build this wonderful place. These are incredible achievements, and I think it required a broader view than the narrow definition of what a library should be and was of a few decades ago, where I grew up.
You can tell a lot about a community by looking at its library. And when you see a library like this in the center of a place like Darien, you know that it's a better community.
The culture is such here that this extreme customer service would live on, that it is everyone on the staff is bought into it. So it isn't a culture that's based on one personality. It's based on a collective personality. And yes, I may have been the one that started it 30 years ago, but it has been built by successive staff members and leadership among various people on the staff.
It all goes down to the leadership of Louise building this library the way it is. It would not have happened without her. This is not a puff piece either. It's just the way it is.
What is a library? It's not just a number of books. It's just not a place to ask questions. What it is a place where people can come and be successful with the resources that the library provides to them. And so we shouldn't measure ourselves, and we at Darien don't measure ourselves by the number of books that we have, or the number of books that we circulate, or the number of questions that are asked, or the questions that are answered, or by the technology we have, or by the programs that people attend. What we measure ourselves by is how can we make people successful? Successful in what they want to learn, successful in what they want to enjoy, successful in how they want to meet their friends, successful in how they want to take on a new challenge. And that success of our patrons is because this isn't our library, it's their library. We're providing the hospitality, and they're providing the reason for us to be here. It was the kind of time that we had a chance to open when we've been closed, open in a new building, open with new systems like the new RFID systems, open with new self-checks, open with all of the kinds of things. So we piled new on new on new, on excitement and on joy, and it was a remarkable day and a remarkable time in this community.